Ilse Guambe is 15 years old and a mother. That's nothing unusual in rural Mozambique, where half of all girls are married before they're of legal age. 1 in 5 is married before the age of 15. Their husbands' families generally just see them as cheap labor.
After I had my baby, my parents sent me to my in-laws. All they did was insult me. I wasn't welcome there.
And Ilse was one of the lucky ones. She and her child are healthy. Asita Mulanga lives far away from the nearest hospital.
It happened during the birth. When it was over, I was incontinent.
Her husband works in South Africa. Just 14, Asita was alone when she went into labor. Her baby was too big, and the birth took several days. The pressure from the baby cut off blood flow in her pelvis, causing tissue damage and tearing.
After the birth, my baby was very weak, and it died. I was very sad. Then I noticed that I could hardly walk anymore.
The World Health Organization says some 3.5 million women around the world suffer this kind of injury, called obstetric fistula. It's rare in industrialized nations where cesarean deliveries are carried out in complicated cases. Asita's going to have surgery at the hospital in Mozambique, which specializes in treating fistulas. It's supported by the UN's Population Fund. Dr. Mishak Tembe says pregnancies among young girls are one of the biggest problems in rural Mozambique.
These child weddings are a terrible thing. The girls aren't ready for pregnancy yet, and not only physically. The children should not have to be responsible yet for their own children.
But it's not only about giving the young mothers medical care, it's also about education. Actors have come to this village, putting the suffering of the child brides on stage. The play is meant to convince the elders, the decision makers in the village. The legal marriage age in Mozambique is actually 16. And after today, no one in the village can say they didn't know that. Salmina Kumbane, who herself was a child bride, thinks the campaign is working.
When the play started, most of the village elders here thought it was fine to force a girl to marry against her will. But I think that the longer they watched, the better they understood that you shouldn't force children to marry. They should go to school and then decide themselves whom they want to marry.
Going back to school offers the girls a chance to determine the course of their own lives.
All I want is to go back to school. I don't want to go back to my husband. I suffered so much, too much. When I finish school, then I can get job training and earn my own money.
For the young mothers, childhood is over. But perhaps their daughters can look forward to a better future.